What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Friday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. We got a special episode going on today on this Friday episode. We got Herbie Teope, our NFL insider, joining me to basically go through everything that's already happened so far in free agency as it pertains to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, right after we got off of the interview, we actually had a little bit of breaking news. So the Chiefs are now signing defensive tackle Jerry Tillery to a one-year deal. He comes to the Chiefs from the Los Angeles Chargers. So some breaking news to dive into. Of course, our breaking news team will have all of that information. You can follow us at KCSN on Twitter as well as here on YouTube. Like and subscribe so you get all the latest updates. With that, we are going to throw to the segment. Ladies and gents, we have a very special edition of Chiefs News Daily. We're going to start calling it H&H. It's your daily dose of H&H, and you're going to need it to go into this weekend. We got Herbie Teope joining me here to talk through basically all the madness that has happened in free agency. I mean, Herbie, it was a very busy Monday, Tuesday, a little just kind of dull Wednesday and Thursday. Now we're here on Friday. Now we have another backup quarterback in Kansas City and another, will we call him a backup or a third backup for the running back position? So we're going to roll through all of it. But hey, again, welcome to the show.
No, Hayley, I'm just proud to be with you. You know, one of the things, for folks who don't know, Hayley and I have known each other on the Chiefs beat for multiple years. And I've always said I wanted to work with Hayley. And here we are with BJ made the dream come true.
Look at that. The dream team is back together. So Herbie, let me get it off the top. The breaking news of Kareem Hunt coming out on a Friday. You know the Chiefs. They love to throw you things on Friday afternoon so that you've already written your article for everything, and then they throw you a little bit that you got to add in. What do you initially think of this ad? I mean, especially after when you look at the running back room. Okay, they got Carson Steele, they got Isaiah Pacheco, now they have Kareem Hunt, and then they bring in this new guy, Elijah Mitchell. So what does make it make sense?
I think if anything, it gives them another veteran presence in that running back's room. Look, Hunt turns 30 in August, so his best years are behind him. You know, typically you want your running backs in their prime years, which is 20 to 25. He's on the tail end of his career, but he gives him a veteran presence back there, another power rusher to complement Isaiah Pacheco. And then you mentioned Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell is a guy that I'm actually pretty excited to see what he can bring to this offense. He is an electric runner, speed. You know, he has something that Pacheco and Kareem Hunt don't have. He's got that 4.38, 4.33 speed. And Andy Reid loves those kinds of running backs out of the backfield. I think if Clyde Edwards-Helaire had worked out, that was their vision for him. That guy that can, you know, line up anywhere out of the backfield. And with him, you've got a dynamic piece there. I would not be surprised one bit if the Chiefs add a running back during the draft, because at the NFL Scouting Combine, both Veach and Reid said this is a deep class at running back.
See, that was my next question for you, because when I saw the Kareem Hunt news come across my Twitter notifications, I thought, oh my God, please tell me this doesn't mean they're not going to go after running back, especially with how wonderful the running back class is. I mean, this has been one of the best in the last decade, I'd say, of running backs. You were there at the NFL Combine as well. With Kansas City bringing back Kareem, what type of maybe running back do you see them targeting? Is Devin Neal on the radar? You know, are these sorts of people that might be even local players potentially could come to Kansas City?
Well, you got to think about it, as deep as this draft is, and if you look at the NFL draft history over recent years, the Chiefs always found someone, or even teams in general, are always typically finding players later on in the draft, because the premium is always going to be on defensive line, offensive line, your defensive backs, especially cornerbacks. But because this draft is so deep, it would not surprise me if you look at what Veach did a couple years ago with Pacheco. He found him late in the draft.
Yeah, 7th round.
A 1,000-yard rusher. So they're going to grab someone eventually, and I firmly believe that.
Okay, so everyone just needs to take a chill pill, enjoy your weekend. Brett Veach is whom we trust in, and he'll figure it all out. Let's move on to some of the other accusations, or what they have acquired, which really, I think the biggest one is right off the bat, Kansas City goes out and they address the biggest issue, the left tackle issue. We got to see all last year, you know, they kind of just put a Band-Aid over it multiple times. And then what happens when you keep putting a Band-Aid over a wound? It's eventually going to bleed through. We saw it at the Super Bowl, right? So they go out and they get this Jalen Moore kid, this kid who's been playing behind Trent Williams. What do you see out of this guy? Is he the be-all, end-all fix to this, or are we still going to see competition in training camp?
I would hope is the be-all fix, because as you know, Haley, they've had that revolving door at left tackle for quite a while now, ever since Eric Fisher left. They need to find the answer, and the contract that they gave him gives them the out. You know, if he's not the answer, then they're back to square one looking for it. But I actually like this kid. 3-year starter at left tackle in college, and you brought up backing up Trent Williams, one of the league's elite left tackles. He had the opportunity to watch and learn from somebody who's probably going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, how it's done. And that says a lot about a player. That would be like me learning, from you.
Okay.
And then when I move on, I'm like, hey, Haley taught me.
Hey, remember when I first came into the Chiefs media room, I met you right away. You were one of the guys who was like, hey, let me tell you how it goes around here. Let me give you the little insight. So I remember you even told me one time, don't lean up against the fence at practice because Coach Reed doesn't like that. And I almost got in trouble just because I was casually, hanging out back there, and, the little nuances that you learn. So Herbie, don't give me too much credit, but I do want to take a little bit of credit from you on all the articles that you have done around these new players, because you're getting that stuff out there quickly, having to find it quickly, and also having to figure out how they might fit, in this scheme that Kansas City is running with, or maybe just better in the roster. Let's move on to the quarterback. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, real quick, you mentioned the scheme, and this is something that Cupper and I talked about the other day. One thing about Jalen Moore is he played in the West Coast offense. The same thing with Elijah Mitchell. He played in the West Coast offense with the San Francisco 49ers, and so that transitions very well with their new team. It's not like he's going to have to learn a whole new system. All he has to learn is the language. But the fact that he learned under Trent Williams in the West Coast offense also bodes well for him.
So a pair of Niners was probably a great thing that Kansas City could do. They also got another West Coast kid. We're talking about the cornerback position, Christian Fulton coming in. Now, this is it's crazy to think the kid was drafted, in 2020, and we're already calling him a veteran. It's wild, but it's true. This is a veteran presence who now maybe they find that guy who can lock down the field across from Trent McDuffie. How do you see Fulton playing into the secondary here in Kansas City?
I think we both know Steve Spagnuolo loves his nickel packages. And if anything, this allows Spagnuolo to move Trent McDuffie back where he thrives, in the slot. In the base defense, sure, put Fulton and McDuffie out there on the boundaries. But when the Chiefs are in the nickel, because everybody in the National Football League throws the football like it's going out of style, you got to have that third cornerback. Jalen Watson, he was hurt last year. Hopefully he's healthy enough where they are able to shift McDuffie back into the slot.
So McDuffie goes back to his natural spot. Fulton is able to fill in across the field. I think what's great about that is, this past year, what they had to do after losing L'Jarius Sneed was, again, put Trent McDuffie in something that's just maybe not his best. And then across the field, when Jalen Watson got hurt, you're asking for 3 other guys who have never played that position before to try to rotate in with Shamari Connor, with Nazeeh Johnson, Joshua Williams. So I think this is really, like you mentioned, a very good answer for Kansas City's not only void in the backfield, but what's going to fit perfectly for Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Last question I want to ask you, if you were going to, and maybe this is just more of an overall arching thing, if you were going to grade what Brett Veach has done so far, is this a grade that you would hang on your fridge back home? Or is this just kind of like, oh, he got a B, or I would say he ain't done yet, we'll figure it out later? Maybe just give me a synopsis of the entire free agency that Veach has had his hand in so far for this 2025 offseason.
I think, with grades, I think it's anything, it's too early to assign a grade to this because we don't know how it's going to play out. We haven't had the benefit of OTAs. We haven't had the benefit of training camp. I think if you want to say, did they address what they needed? I would say yes, they did. Yep. They needed to find a left tackle. They needed to find a cornerback. You needed to inject youth into that backfield with Elijah Mitchell. Granted, it is only a 1-year deal, but I think bringing back some of those players that they brought, Nick Bolton is huge. That's tremendous. Hollywood Brown is huge.
Yeah, that was a good one.
This gives them options during the draft because they were able to address in-house matters. Now, the free agent signings, we'll see what happens here down the road once the season starts. But I do like I like Minshaw's hair. You didn't bring that up.
How did I miss that? How did I go over that? Oh my gosh, new quarterback backing up Patrick Mahomes. So obviously the question was, is Carson Wentz going to go fight a starting job? Well, they found Gardner Minshew coming from the Raiders. He also played with the Colts, also played with the Jags. And then they also got Bailey Zappi, who they had under contract, I believe, or maybe even, was he a practice squad guy last year?
Yeah, got the squad guy.
So now, he's going to be a part of that competition as well. But yeah, the flow. What shampoo do you think this guy uses? I mean, it's shiny. It's looking good. So what do you think about that? I mean, that broke last night. And I remember we were trying to quickly scramble to get some stuff together. But his addition now coming, that veteran quarterback presence that Andy Reid loves.
Yeah, when you go back to 2018, 2017, ever since Patrick Mahomes became the official starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, they've always had a veteran. Matt Moore, Chad Henne, Blaine Gabbert, last year Carson Wentz, and now this time it's going to be Minshew's time. Yeah. But when you look at everybody there, who has the best hair? It's Gardner. Hands down, it's Gardner.
Obviously, he will win an award, whether it's us giving it to you to give to him at training camp. One way or another, he needs to know his hair is appreciated. And also, Herbie, so are you. We appreciate you taking some time today to talk through everything with us. If you guys like this episode, show us some love, like and subscribe here on KCSN. And then also, give some love to my man Herbie. We will do these more often so you guys can get some more insight. But he is the NFL insider you need to follow with all the tweets, all the articles, all the news. You're killing it.
Thank you very much, Hayley. I'm glad we're teammates now. I'm really glad.
There you go.